What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a review of Xbox All Access as an entire package, including the console and Game Pass as well. So before we get into it, I think the first thing I have to tell you is kind of how I use the Xbox and Game Pass. I think that's a really important part of a review, so you understand how I'm using it and kind of what I like and don't like and how applicable that is to your own usage. So I was really lucky to be able to get my hands on an Xbox Series X, but the only way I was able to do this was through the Xbox All Access package. And I think it's also really important to say that even though I have a 4K HDR TV, that's why I got the X, it doesn't actually support that with the games console plugged in, so I can only play 1080p. And while that is really unfortunate, I still feel like I can still give a full rounded review of the Xbox and also Game Pass bundled in there as well. So let's get into it. So the first thing to talk about is obviously the looks and the controller. Now for the looks, I think it's actually really nice. I think it's really nice and sleek with the edges, and I really like it, but I think it's really ugly if you lay it horizontally. For some reason, I think the design only works vertically. I think the matte black finish is really nice, and also the design really reminds me of one of those NZXT H1 mini PC cases, or even one of the Corsair One kind of things. Obviously they're not exactly the same shape, but that kind of style is kind of like a mini PC. Now onto the controller. First I was kind of disappointed with the whole design. It didn't feel as up to date and kind of updated as the PS5 DualSense controller, but then the more I think about it, the more I think that maybe it didn't actually need to be as updated. The Xbox One controller was far ahead. The PS4 controller, in my opinion, isn't very nice. Now, I think it's worth just mentioning here that I have nothing against PlayStation. I'm not one of those people. I have nothing against the PS4 or the PS5 or anything like that. As soon as I can get a PS5, I will do, but I do feel like the Xbox One controller was far ahead of the DualShock controller. But now, of course, we have the DualSense controller of the PS5 with the advanced haptics and the adaptive triggers, and those are features that I really would have liked to see on the Xbox One controller, but I do feel that maybe they're just a bit gimmicky. I don't know how effective they are in kind of immersing in that gaming experience more. Now, of course, like I said, I haven't actually used the PS5 DualSense controller, so I can't know for sure, but it does feel a bit like those are more gimmicky, and in the mainstream gaming, you won't actually use them most of the time. So what I mean is basically it doesn't actually feel like the Xbox is missing out on all too much. And of course, now they've added the share button into the middle as well, which is great. I have used it a few times because when random or funny things have happened in the games that I play, but that's kind of where it's ended. I've never shared them anywhere or anything like that, because I feel like if you're recording gameplay or you're streaming gameplay, you're gonna tend to do it through something like an Elgato, or you'll just be streaming it to Twitch or YouTube, where you can get clips of it anyway, and you don't really need that feature. After all, I don't know many people, if any people, that just scroll through the Xbox Live community tab looking through each other's clips. That's something I used to do a few years ago. I'm not really about it anymore. So that's enough about the controller. Now we're going to move on to the Xbox console itself. So setting the console up through my phone was kind of a cool little addition there, but I don't actually know if that's brand new for the next gen consoles. I feel like that was probably the way we set up some Xbox Ones not that long ago. I don't remember. I did buy mine quite a while ago, so I can't remember. I was like 3 at the time, back off. And of course, because of the design, that means that there's only one fan at the top. Now, this is great. I love that fan. It's the best fan I've ever seen, ever. My PC fans could learn a thing or two from this Xbox fan, because it is so silent and so good. If you put your hand above that, you do feel a lot of air coming out, which is obviously really good because it's gonna need to. My only worry is that the Xbox does run quite hot. I've made plenty of jokes about how you don't have to turn the heating on, you just need to run the Xbox for a while, and while they are very hilarious and obviously quite an overstatement, it does run quite hot, which is the only thing that I'm not too keen about. Now, the UI is of course exactly the same pretty much as the Xbox One UI, and in other people's reviews and in other kind of videos about the Xbox before I actually got mine, people were bringing it up how it doesn't feel special, and I thought that's not really important, it's just the UI. But after having bought one and experienced it, I must say it does feel just a tad less special. I would have liked to see something a bit more, you know, new and fun for the Xbox Series X and S. And although obviously you spend most of your time in a game rather than just flicking through the menus, it would have just been a nice feature, especially as when you first get the console while you're waiting for games to download. If your Wi-Fi is as slow as mine, it did take a few hours, so you do spend quite some time just flicking through the menus and seeing if anything's new, which of course it's not. So of course, no one's doubting the power of the new Xbox consoles, especially when it comes to the Series X. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've seen plenty of like pictures of the graphics in the new games, but I must say, I've just got to say it, they are incredible. So of course, because I got Xbox All Access, it came with the Game Pass, which meant I got the optimized version of Forza Horizon 4 just for free. So I downloaded that on the day I got it, and I just played through, and I need to say, the graphics on that, even though it's not in 4K 120 or whatever because my TV is balls, it was so good. It looked so good. The grass, the detail, even at 1080p was incredible. And that of course is what next gen gaming is all about. Another game that looked great when I was playing it was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now of course this isn't the hardest game in the world to run. I know that it does have a 120 FPS version, which of course I can't play because my TV again is balls. And so I really would have liked to experience the smoothness, but honestly it looks stunning. And the fact that it's free with Xbox All Access under that Game Pass is fantastic. Another thing I have to mention is the loading times. Now I'm going to use an example here of GTA 5. It's quite a popular game. You've probably played it, but if you haven't, just imagine. If you played it on some of the last gen consoles, now I know GTA is an old game, but if you played it on the last gen consoles, you probably know what I'm talking about when I say the loading screen was very, very long. You'd have the police cars crashing, the sirens, and then it would flip to a slideshow of just random pictures of characters in the game and things like that. But with this new Series X, that is completely gone. There is no slideshow at all. There's one photo that loads for a few seconds and then boom, you're straight into the game, and that blew me away. I know it's an old game, but it always took so long to load, and the fact it's basically instant with this is incredible. Now, of course, it's a next-gen console, so it doesn't deserve all of the praise in the world for better graphics and better loading times. That's kind of the point, but the fact that it's only 450 quid and that my PC that cost over double that in the end by the time I finished building it and not setting fire to it is just insane. It's twice as good and half the price. So I cannot tell you how impressed I am with the console itself. Now, of course, because we're talking about Xbox All Access, now I'm going to move on to Game Pass. So Game Pass Ultimate does give me kind of mixed feelings. I sort of love it and I sort of hate it, and I sort of really wish that they just put some more into it, which I'm hoping they will do along the line. Because on the one hand, it's a huge library of games for $10.99 a month. It comes with EA Play, and it also gives you Xbox Live Gold as well. You don't need to buy Xbox Live if you're a Game Pass member. And of course, it's also cross-platform, so if you have a PC that you like to game on, and you also can get the mobile app. So it's a lot of stuff for under £11 a month, which is great. The only problem for me is that while it is a huge library of games and it comes with EA Play, not many of those games are actually games that you want to spend time playing. I'm sorry to say it, if you're a game dev and your game's on Game Pass and I said I don't like it, I'm sorry, but I just don't. At the moment, none of the games on there, especially if they're EA Play ones, are new. EA Play really only gives you last year's games for free, so it's kind of like if you actually care about things like FIFA or Madden or NHL games, then you'd buy the new one because you'd actually want to play the new one, and EA Play doesn't really do that for you. And while it does give you some discounts on in-game purchases, who's really buying that many FIFA points to make it worth it anyway? So like I say, the library does feel a bit underwhelming. It's very similar for console and PC. There isn't too much difference, and it kind of feels like, because it was kind of underwhelming on the first day, because I knew I had that Game Pass subscription, I was downloading games for the sake of it to feel like I was getting my money's worth, rather than actually downloading games that I was like, yes, I really want to play these. Now, because it's a game subscription service, I just want to compare it to another one on PC only, granted, that is Ubisoft Plus. Now, Ubisoft Plus is $12.99 a month, so it's £2 more, and it gives you ultimate editions of all their newest games as soon as they come out. I played Watch Dogs Legion, I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and all of their old stuff as well for $12.99 a month. Before I got this, I cancelled that because I got, obviously, Xbox All Access. And to be honest, I think the deal with Ubisoft is probably better, because even though the library might not be as huge or have such variety, there's some of the gaming industry's biggest titles obviously with Ubisoft, and also you get the Ultimate Edition for free with the subscription on the day of release, which is great. So I think Game Pass could learn a thing. Now of course games that were gonna be put onto Game Pass when they were new got delayed at the moment, so maybe in the future it'll get better, and with some more investment from Microsoft and Xbox it can get better, and that's why I kind of like it. I feel like it can go a lot of places, but at the moment it's not quite worth what I pay for it, I believe. One of the most exciting areas of Game Pass for me though is on mobile. Now what you can do is you download the app, you can connect your controller through the Bluetooth on your phone, or you can just play with touch on certain games, and you can stream games from the cloud, play loads of Xbox games, and just play them on your phone on the go. Now obviously it's quite new, it's kind of still getting there, so I did have a few lag issues, but I feel like if you travel a lot, if you find yourself in airports a lot or things like that, or on trains a lot, then this could be a really fun way of just killing time as you travel and having a lot of fun doing it. What I really do recommend is getting the Game Pass Ultimate 3 months for £1 if you have that offer available to you, because then you'll have a better idea of how it suits you and your needs rather than just my opinion. In conclusion, I feel that the Xbox console is fantastic. It's got so much potential and it's such good value, of course it is, compared to a similar PC or anything like that. And I think that while Game Pass is kind of a bit underwhelming at the moment, with further investment and more time, and as more games get released, it could be a really exciting prospect. I feel like subscription services are the way forward for gaming. They have been with music and they are with TV now. So gaming, obviously, it's the next step for that. I just need Microsoft to actually care enough about Game Pass to make it something that we really, really value. So thank you very, very much for watching this video. If you did like the video, please do leave a like. And if you want some more tech and gaming style videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're well on the way to 100 at the moment. Thank you very much to everyone that has already subscribed, and I hope to catch you in the next one.